Wow.
Wow, that was quick.
I know, right? Hey, how's everybody doing?
I'm tired. That's how everybody's doing. What's going on, guys?
Yeah. We just literally ran in here. There we go. That's Saturday right there. Nice and wide. Good day, everyone, and welcome to the show. I was just thinking, because we set it up. We had to go hang some slot wall.
Mm-hmm.
We came back. We had 2 minutes. I went to the bathroom. He grabbed the chairs. And I was thinking, you remember when Kicker used to do a half-hour pre-roll?
Half hour? Really?
Remember when they first did Unmasked? There was like a half hour. Yeah, it's just drywall. Yeah. They did a half hour.
I didn't know that was
commercial.
a half hour.
Well, I think it started out as an hour, and then it switched to a half hour of commercials before they actually did their show.
Wow.
And the thing I think is funny is if we do a static image for like 30, 40 seconds, people are like, dude, what the heck?
Unsubscribe.
So anyways, how's everybody doing? I hope you've had a spectacular week. Sorry we haven't been too social. We've just been working on the retail store, getting everything moved, putting up slot wall. We're very tired, very sore. Yeah, slot wall's heavy.
It's been a lot of sheets.
So taking it down, putting it up, moving it over. Oh my gosh. And then
it's a lot.
I think we have every kit that they make. Yeah.
I'm going to take it as
I like this. I like this one right here. Mowing season is just about over. Hey, and you know what that means? It's almost time for cleaning your sidewalk off with, snow and ice. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Rest in peace, Thunderbox Bill.
Cool.
Trigillis.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine, the guy that got me started in 12 volt fabrication. Let me narrow the field down. He's the guy that taught me a lot of what I knew in the beginning, how to build boxes, how to make panels, how to piss off somebody that's trying to do wiring, how to not complete anything. Bandpass. Oh yeah, he was the master bandpasser.
I remember when he came, he's like, come on, listen to this.
Yeah. He was the master bandpasser. And he hated building them. That was the funny thing. But he came up with such efficient ways of building them. That was for sure. Anytime I would have to build a bandpass, it's burned into my psyche how to do it. Awesome. He passed away this week, which was last week actually, while we were out at Todd Ramsey's event, because he passed away. So yeah, it's been interesting. Either way,
it's been sad.
Sean just left the funeral. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Big Red.
Hey, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. He was a good friend.
Hello from Brazil.
I'm running out of bodies that used to be at AVE.
Yeah.
I mean, we've lost. Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, between jail and death, it's like I don't know who's left. I know one guy's left, but he got out a long time ago. So
the next one's gonna be deportation.
Oh God, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Shoot.
Anyways, on to happier subjects. Hey guys, if you got questions, get them queued up in the comments, and we'll weed through those. But the banner, as you see up top, is SEMA is coming up. So Monday we will be at SEMA. We will not be here in the install bay or Friday. So none of the shows. We will do a Saturday show though, because we'll be back here in the bay on Saturday. So this time next week we will be here. But as far as the rest of the stuff during the week, just stay tuned. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of stuff going on. I will say this: if there's going to be any like YouTube or anything, it'll probably be in the morning, which will still be East Coast time, 3 hour difference. But so if we try to do YouTube stuff, so if you don't, make sure you look, because it won't be And there's still going to be some shows.
Maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, like by the end of
like 8 o'clock
closing
at night.
time.
Yeah,
we
late,
can
really late, but
we can go quick to the booth and
there is going to be videos next week, so like install diaries, and I think I'm going to try to get some cars we've heard edited up the next day and a half, so that we have something up there for you guys to watch, because I know you guys hate it when there's nothing. So yeah. See you guys in a bit. Oh, El Fernandez is coming. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
That would be nice, right?
But if you are going to SEMA, Friday is Consumer Day, so you can get a consumer pass and come in.
That's right.
Otherwise, like I said, we'll be at the Rockford booth, so you can come by, say hi, see what's new from Rockford. So we got new stuff coming from Focal. So if you don't follow Focal America, make sure you go over and follow Focal America over on Instagram, because we'll be posting pictures there. Maybe short videos, who knows?
Or on Facebook too.
Yeah, you can follow on Facebook as well. And then we know Natasha dropped a bombshell last night, unbeknownst to us. We knew nothing about this,
but it's not. I don't know. I was just in a public, and not in a public.
It wasn't a public. It was on Instagram.
Oh,
it was posted. Yeah, it was public. So yeah.
I didn't see it on Instagram.
It doesn't matter. It's out on Facebook. It's
in a dealer group.
It doesn't matter. It's public knowledge. Morel is going to be dropping some new stuff. So Jessica, phone with Casey. Yeah, they're too cool to return our calls.
Where?
We advertise for them.
See, it's nothing.
It doesn't matter. It's on Facebook. It's in the reel. It'll be at SEMA. So there'll be stuff from there. Lots of new stuff. So Focal does have a bunch of new stuff coming out. So it'll be good. So stay tuned to next week.
At the end of the day, we're going to be with Rockford Fosgate in the North Hall at the booth 10709. So stop by, say hi, just like Marty right there. Stop by, say hi.
He'll be out there with Cicada.
Who?
Oh, Cicada.
I know. Just kidding. Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
Yeah, but we got to talk about it so that you guys give him money. It's like the circle of life. It's all Kuna Matata. The circle of life. So we talk about it. Consumers want it. They go into retailers and they buy it.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. It's pretty crazy.
I don't think so. Don't tell me what to do.
I will always tell you what to do. Did you catch anything on AR2? No.
Oh, man, it's been...
No. I haven't talked to James in a minute.
No, I don't think
man.
so.
What's up?
Hey, what's up? Going to Scott right there in the top. has released their new Power Slim subs. No, not yet.
Yes. So, actually, yes. So they have released them in limited quantity. And I mean super limited quantity.
How much they are?
No, I have no idea on price, but they have released them in super limited quantity. And by that, I mean like maybe 10 of them.
So they haven't.
So there was a really micro batch that came into the U.S. And that was it. So there are some people that did get them, but I don't know what retail is on them yet. That's all stuff that we'll try to get some clarification on.
What do we have?
Okay, so they're not
breaking news.
So Morel will not have a booth. It is with Mobridge, but Casey will be there basically to tune the Bronco, and he will be out on Wednesday. Okay, so he's just we'll see.
Told you.
So we'll see.
This is not like
I know. I'm just saying they put up a whole big post,
but that was just for dealers.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It matters.
I'll be interested. Hey, we got to go over there and see what it is.
I don't think we're gonna have time, but yeah.
I don't think we will either, but it's okay. 2021 Kia Forte base system. It's non-amplified, 4 speakers only, retaining stock head unit. Can I use a key lock? Pardon me. And feed 1,000 watt sub amp from a Key 200.4. So basically, what you're gonna do is radio.
Yeah.
Your front outputs are gonna go into the key lock, right?
To the key lock.
To the key lock itself. The outputs of the key lock are going to go off to your 1,000 watt amp. So your sub amp is going to come directly out. So you're just going to Y them off. So come out of the key lock off to the 1,000 watt amp. Come out of the key lock, wide off, also to the front outputs of the 200.4. I would use the front outputs unless you have backup sensors. If there's no noise coming out of the rear speakers that is required by the car, meaning there's no backup sensors, there's no lane departure, anything like that, I would just put it as a stereo input, meaning a front input only, and use that to power the rear speakers if you are going to be doing the key 200.4 front and rear. If you're just going to be doing it as front components, meaning mid bass and tweeter, then just all you have to do is tap into the front two speakers with the key lock. Now, the key lock has a very basic, the key lock has no load resistance built into it at all. So you will need to put some load resistors in there. I would recommend getting a set of either get the KISS load, I think is what it's called. Get the KISS load from Kicker if you want to make it all Kicker, the 2-channel version. 4-channel version if you are going to be retaining the rear outputs. And then if you don't want to get that, you could also get a set of audio control AC LGD greens. Those are the 20s. 20s. So AC LGD 20s, which are green. Front and rear set. So then it'd go radio, load resistors, key lock. Yeah. And so
all right, so which one is the gray? No, the gray ones is the 60.
Grays are the 60.
What about the blue ones?
The blue ones are just a baseline, minimal amount. Just a basic amount of resistance for like a Ford, just to keep it under control so you don't blow your tweeters. No, it's the original key load. What's up, Mary Lou?
Hey, what's going on? You know?
Typically newer Kias and Hyundais, the bass frequencies are out of the rear doors. Front doors are crossed over. Ooh, so that's important too.
The newer ones. Okay.
So you may also need 2 key locks then, if you're trying to retain front and rear. But the nice thing about the key lock is key lock does have an RTA built into it, and it will tell you if you have enough signal, because you'll play a sine sweeper and there's 3 LEDs on it. Those 3 LEDs are 20 to 20,000. I'm sorry, 20,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 200, 200 to 20. And so those lights, if they're lighting up all 3 of them super bright, then that's a good signal to use. If one of them is kind of dim, it can bring it back. If one of them is off, you're out of luck. So you can do that. So you may want, who actually uses it? Nobody, but it's just a matter of retaining Bluetooth and stuff like that. A lot of the times when it comes to fader controls and stuff like that, nobody really uses fader. It's just what's coming through those speakers. That's why I was saying backup sensors. You know, as far as front speakers, like Honda uses their center channel for Bluetooth and GPS talking, so it doesn't come out of left or right, so you always have to retain it. So you have to do a quick check of where the sounds are coming in the car before you just say, oh, I'm not going to use it anymore. So that's why that's like that. Okay. Um, 2017 F-150 with the Sony. Found a Kenwood XR606 DSP with the Maestro AR for $300. Wow. That's nice. That'll work in there. Thinking of Morel Virtus Nano Active Front or Audio Frog GS and an S10. Why would you not do the Morel 6x9 components?
The Virtus, the roller Virtus?
No, the step down from the Virtus. They have a 6x9 component. The I don't know. The step down has a 6x9 component. It still has the same tweeter. So below Virtus. I don't know. It's one of the other brands. I was gonna say.
I just get out of the studio.
I was gonna say, why don't you just like look it up, man?
I'm going to. It's just like I'm lacking on here.
So basically, the key lock cannot be fed from a 200.4.
The Tempo. There you go.
Tempo. Yeah. Morel Tempo 6x9.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. See. No. So the key lock is the high level to low level converter. The reason why you put a key lock in it is just to do de-equalization. So the key stuff, as it were, this is, okay. The key is an acoustical RTA piece. So if you weren't worried about like you get in the car and you say, you know what, I want it EQ'd and I want it louder. Cool. If there's no goofy stuff that you've tested for, which you're not going to test for because you don't have the equipment to do, more than likely. I don't know, you may. You put a key lock in, key 200.4 in it. It'll listen to it acoustically. It'll throw its EQ curve in there, and it'll rock on. And you're all set. The key lock, which the high level to low level in the key 200.4 is sufficient enough to integrate into most radios. The key lock is if you mentioned key lock. So the key lock is just if you need to do de-equalization. So if you were to look at the signal coming out of the radio on an RTA and you go, whoa, this is tragic. Like there's a ton of bass roll off. There might be some delay. There could be all pass filters that you don't, meaning you want to do time alignment. If you don't care about time alignment, then you don't have to remove the all pass filters. So you might be like, oh, hey, it actually centers pretty good from the factory. So you just flip the switch and turn off the all pass filter, and it'll keep the sound stage the way it is for the most part. The key lock will fix and remove all of that and give you a flat output, kind of like an aftermarket radio would, or an Amp Pro or an AR or something like that, to which then you build off of. So you use it to remove all the equalization and all the problems. The reason why it becomes helpful, especially in front of a sub amp, is because a lot of cars now have some form of high pass filter on the output of the radio. And it's hard to get rid of that and make subs sound full and rich without some form of an EQ band there to correct for that. So a key lock will help the sub sound better and give you a full 1,000 watts, as opposed to having to compensate and you having a 1,000 watt amp and really not getting enough signal to it. So you're not getting, it's not giving you 1,000 watts. So you wouldn't feed the 200.4 into the key lock. It goes radio, then key lock, because the key lock is going to do your de-equalization. Now, according to Fro, the rear signal on the Kia has more sub than the fronts. So the key lock is a 2-channel device, which means if you're going to want to fix everything, then you need one for front, one for rear. Yeah, it's confusing. Newer Kias have all that stuff. Exactly. So that's why we were going through the fun. Thought of the tempo alters as well. Big ass tweeters on those tempo alters, man. It sounds really good. We've put them in before. They're kind of nice. I just, when you have the option between, we're going back to the Morel or the Audio Frogs, the 6x9 mid bass is so much more mid bass than a 6.5, and especially in the tempo or the Virtus. It's a great speaker, but believe it or not, the Virtus Carbon Nanos actually sound better. So, no, Fang, they're not, but thank you. We kind of got down the rabbit hole there. And no, but this show is brought to you by Audio Control. We're talking about integration, and we're having a good old time doing that. We're talking about load resistors. Well, Audio Control does all that stuff for you, and DSP built into their amplifiers. So maybe want to head over to audiocontrol.com and check it out. If it's got a D or an LC or an ACM or an ACX in front of it, it's got a high level to low level adapter all built in. So saves you money, buy it all in one. Mm-hmm. Okay, big question. Ooh, it's a lot of typing. I have a Kenwood 957. Can I use front RCA only into my ACRU, then into my matrix, plus input the front out of my 4-channel amp for my 4 6.5s and rear sub, go into my epicenter micro, and then my bass amp? But I have an amp for my 2 tweeters also. Is the cabin to get total volume control, or the total volume control, and still have bass control? Thanks in advance. Okay, so I think I understand what you're trying to do. You're going to come out of the front outputs of the radio into the ACRU, which is the Audio Control Universal Volume Knob, and then out of that into a
4 channel.
No, into the matrix, and out of the matrix off to everything else for the most part. Epicenter. Yeah, you could do that. That's fine. 100%. There's no reason why I wouldn't. Yeah, because he wants to have a master volume control.
So what would you use the matrix for?
So the matrix is to split the signal back up again. So he wants a master volume control.
Here's
So
what I found.
nice. He wants a master volume control. So he's using the master. So he's using the source unit and then into the master volume control, out of the master volume control to split everything up front, rear, sub. He's using the matrix to do that. Yeah. I mean, you could have just done it all with a DSP.
I mean,
and just set the DSP to master volume control. But this is an analog way to do that. So yes, it would work. It'll work. It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Been a while since I caught you live putting a Kenwood DNR 1000 XR in an 06 F250 4x4 6.0 big motor. And I travel a lot of dirt roads. Is there a particular brand of install kit is more robust, or any mods to the kit I need to make to beef it up? Thank you. Pardon me. 06 F250. I would just check and see if iData makes anything for that, because if iData uses metal brackets for all their radio mounts, so if there is an iData anything for it, that would be the one you would want, because all their side brackets are metal. So other than that, that's kind of what I got. Okay, Mary Lou says, oh yeah, I'm working on a 2003 Hummer H2. Dean, please help. The winter will be here next week, and
just
need
let it go,
my remote
bro.
start. Dude, man, remote start, really? You're so close to Ada and the guys that know remote starts. I don't know.
Listen, if you
GM remote starts escape me, man. Fernando, you look tired.
I'm super tired, bro.
See, you gotta just get the sugar high, man. Did you drink the whole Coke yet?
This is the second soda that I.
That's just pitiful, bro.
I know.
Pitiful. Yeah. So along with moving the stores, also changing residence at the moment. So, and of course, we're leaving Monday.
And we're leaving Monday, and we gotta make sure everything is.
Yeah, we've just been going balls to the wall here. So, thank you. Thanks for the input. Appreciate it. No problem. She wants me to read her question. Go up to the top and find me her question.
I think that's
no. She's got one at the top. She's got a bigger question.
A bigger question.
Yeah. Have you guys heard the Tempo Ultra 6x9 component set on an audio control D4.900? Yes. I have 2 of the D4.800s and 1 set of Tempo Ultra 6x9 components. What would you recommend for rear of the CA? Rear car, maybe? Just get the Macho Tempo Ultra 6.5 component or 6.5 coaxials. Yeah. I mean, why would you not?
And if you don't care about the rears like that much, you can get the Maximo.
I would just get the Tempos. Yeah. I mean, you got the power. I mean, the D4.800 is a lot of power. And yes, we've done those on there plenty of times.
I would go active in the front.
Yeah, whatever. You could. He's got 2 of them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Wow. There you go.
All right. Mary Lou says CM1000 brain. Don't even know what that is.
7,000.
Yeah, sure. From CompuStar, doesn't exit Valley mode, and can't program my T12 remote nor the T13. Do you think the brain is fried? Just reading that question fried my brain. Yes, I do. No, I honestly, it's a GM. Probably everything just needs to be reset. I mean, have you tried unplugging it all yet and just starting over? Because, that's usually what I did when I did alarms, and then I don't have to do them anymore. So my life is good. What do you think about Blam F-150 factory head unit? Will amp later stage 2. I mean, we carry Blam. We haven't had a chance to do a ton with it yet. We've heard quite a bit of it on and off again. Guy, the guy whose picture is on the side of the box, used to work for Focal. That's where his inspiration has come from. So yeah, he wanted to get out and do his own thing, and so it's nice stuff. It's definitely nice stuff. Like I said, we carry it. We just haven't had a chance to do a ton with it yet. I know some guys that live by this stuff, so it's good stuff.
Live by this.
They do. Arturo just like lives for Blam. Ahoy
Really?
there, matey. What's up? Yo, guys, want cranking?
Cranking?
Oh, it's Lance.
That's the boss.
Yeah. I-4 truck Ranger 2019. How do you bypass the factory amplifier to add a Alpine amplifier? About 500 watts extra, 4-channel, 4 ohm. What wires to wear? So if it's a factory amplified system, it's going to have some form of an amp pro available for it. So
They just don't have it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's 2019.
I know.
Are we sure it's factory amplified? Oh, you went and looked?
I went and looked.
Well.
And they have the D harness.
Oh, there you go.
But they don't have the.
Hold on. Let me pull this up here. So if you go to pack-audio.com, they make this guy right here, which is the amplifier T harness for speakers. So
with the VO amplified system.
Yeah, I find that weird that they don't have a amp pro for that. But hey, that's what you got, man. So head over to pack-audio.com, pick up what they got. Yeah. Oh, been watching for 5 years. That's very cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for watching.
Oh, look at her gesture. I always have remote stop working when my battery died. Dude, just reset it. It probably just needs to be reset. Especially GM battery die reset thing. Those things always suck. Hi from New Zealand. I've just redone my system with Cern Vega. Love it. Our good friend is working over there. We have 2 good friends that work over there. Piper and Catalano. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Also, yes, good call, Cuddy. Check out Access. They may also have something for that. So Access is metroonline.com. So head over to metroonline.com, see if they have anything for you there. I forget. Ooh, and as far as metroonline.com goes, there is going to be a ton of Metro stuff that's going to be introduced at SEMA. I can't wait. It's going to be cool. Yeah, we're just going to bang over here to K2 Power M's. Last year, these are what Focal introduced at SEMA.
SEMA, yes.
This year, we're getting another K2. New K2s are coming out. Ooh, we'll be looking for discounts on old ones. Just saying. Maybe. Who knows? Vanilla Ice loves Cern Vegas. That's too funny. Yeah. I think that was in a song. That's too funny. What do you got for me?
I got nothing, man.
Really? Wow. Good call.
All right.
Good afternoon, 5-star.
What's
Good
up?
afternoon. What do you guys do to allow bass into the cabin if seat doesn't fold down? I have ski hole open for now. That's what we do. Open the ski hole. I mean, there's only a couple of options available to you, right? You could totally destroy the integrity of the car by cutting a big hole in the rear deck. Nobody really wants to do that. If there's a factory speakers or subs in the rear deck, you can remove those and have the sub sound come through that. Sometimes people will put PVC up into that. Kind of pointless. Or if you've got a ski chute, obviously fold the ski chute down and have it come through there. But, I mean, the reality is there's not a lot of options available to you. I've fired it back. I've moved the subwoofer back all the way to the back of the car and fire it forward, so it becomes kind of a port, so to speak.
It's a German car?
I mean, it's got a fold-down armrest that gets you into the trunk, so I'm thinking it is kind of a German car. But the reality is there's not much you can do to make it louder, especially if the seat doesn't fold down. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks.
It does suck. Yeah, German cars.
Yeah, man.
Let's get rid of this guy. Okay, so with that being said, I feel like I just ran like super fast to answer a bunch of questions. Happy Saturday, guys. What do you think are the best component 6.5s for the money? I'm assuming this is a joke. Like, because I keep saying this. Well, on Hi-Fi Show, I always say, yeah, like Thursday night on Hi-Fi Vegas show, I said, yeah, you guys, because I want to get the guy from Mats on and have him tell us about the history of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, we'll answer your question. But I said, you know, a lot of guys get upset because if we're not answering who makes the best 6.5s, you know, as opposed to having an interview with some really cool information,
sure.
At least to us anyway. So how do you buy a set of 6.5 components? Let's break down the purchaser's perspective on this, right? Because it's always,
I mean, it's not that hard.
It is hard. It is
Why?
hard. Well, it's very hard because for one, most people, you don't hear the speakers anymore. So you have to shop totally by, you know, just looking at them or seeing a picture in a magazine.
Sure.
Or if you go onto a forum, you have to hear 1,000 guys say, these are the best sounding speakers I've ever heard.
Uh-huh.
And then you go, what speakers have you heard before? These, the factory. So it's like, okay, so is it a substantial upgrade from the factory? Possibly. To that guy it was. To 6 other and his friends were. But if they've never actually heard anything good. And the best example of that is Bose. And I'm talking the home audio. A lot of guys have home audio, love Bose home audio. They think it sounds great. So you actually hear a good theater and you go, oh, these sound like crap. Okay. So now how do I decide what speaker to buy without actually hearing it? So there's 2 things to start. And I always say the same thing. What kind of tweeter? Tweeters are the easiest place to start because those are going to be what define the system. For the most part, there's 2 types of tweeter diaphragms. There's a hard dome and there's a soft dome. Okay. And those will have, it's not a volume thing. It's just a substantial difference in sound. A hard dome is going to be that. It's going to be harder. It's going to, crisp is a good word to use. Glass breakage, you know, that
glass breakage,
you know, that THX. Whereas a soft dome is going to have a more tamer,
mellow.
Maybe mellow is a good word. Not as active, a little more subdued. But volume wise, they'll both be very dynamic and very loud and very, very nice sounding. I'm a soft dome kind of guy, and he's a hard dome kind of guy. However, he's had plenty of soft domes in his car. Some of his favorites were the Merle hybrids. That is still soft dome, but it's like I said, the volume is still there. The crispness is still there. It's just there's a difference there in that. So in the basic 12-volt world, we have those 2 types of tweeters, and they can be made out of different material. Most of the time, a soft dome is going to be made out of some kind of cloth. A hard dome can be made out of anything that makes it hard. So, for example, like Kevlar's, that's a hard dome. But it's a Kevlar tweeter that's a resin-based hard dome. And then they have an aluminum-based, and then they have a what are the Utopia M's made out of? Beryllium. Yeah, beryllium.
Yeah, that's
beryllium. Tylenol, Advil. So there's plenty of different things. Now, let's talk about the mid-base for a little bit. What is the mid-base made out of? So you have a stamped steel basket. You have an aluminum basket. And a lot of the time, some of the cheaper manufacturers will throw a hard dome tweeter that doesn't perform, and they'll throw an aluminum basket onto a cheap mid-bass, and they'll be like $300, and you'll be like, oh, this is amazing, and they'll give you a shiny passive crossover. And you'll be like, kind of, oh, well, and then you'll get it, and you'll be like, these are the best speakers I've ever heard, because you've never heard anything else. So now it comes down to reputable brands, right? Something that you've heard of is always a good place to start. Meaning, look at the companies and figure out, okay, who actually is designing these speakers? So, for example, like we all know JL makes subwoofers, right? They've been making subwoofers forever. They're a subwoofer manufacturer.
Yes, they do.
Now they make speakers, and they make amplifiers. The line as a whole is a very complete system, very trustworthy. Then you look at Focal, who's a sponsor of the show, and you say, well, Focal is a speaker company. Okay, they make speakers. That's their thing. They make speakers. They make some of the finest home audio cabinets in the world. Grand Utopia, if you haven't ever Googled one of those.
Yeah,
go check those out and go, holy shit, that's anyways. Yeah, it's expensive. So in there again, you have Morel, same thing. They make speakers. They just make speakers. That's all they do. They do have some amplifiers here in the United States, but for the most part, they just make speakers. So, and then you have some Japanese companies that make very nice speakers for affordable prices. I think the Japanese do the best job of making affordable, good sounding speakers that are just that are just like you put them in, you go, yeah, these sound good. So, for example, Kenwood makes an amazing sounding speaker in the Exelon line.
Mm-hmm.
Alpine makes an excellent sounding speaker in the R-Type line.
Yeah.
Sony has the GS line of affordable speakers that sound really, really good. Pioneer has some speakers. The Z-Type, the tweeter's crazy on that one. But anyways, so there again, Japanese make some really nice. And then, you have the American companies, like I said, JL. Rockford, you look at Rockford and you can kind of decide, just by watching a Rockford ad, you can get an idea of what their speakers are going to sound like.
Yeah.
It's freaking boogie down production, man. We're partying, we're hanging out.
Power all the way, buddy.
And they have, but the nice thing is with Rockford, they're one of the weird companies that gives you a hard dome tweeter and a soft dome tweeter. So T1s are soft dome, T2 hard dome, T3 soft dome, T4 hard dome. And the reason why they do that is because, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. So they want to make sure they cover both of those bases. So really at the end of the day, as you can see, it's not the easiest thing in the world. The other thing too is integration into the car. So what that means is, let's say I have a tweeter on the A pillar and a mid bass in the door. That's 2 pieces, okay? If I have a big passive crossover, I'm going to have to mount it somewhere in the car so that I can then run off to my mid bass and up to my tweeter, which is fine. You don't want to mount it into the door. Now, some high-end speakers or entry-level speakers have 2-piece crossovers, meaning they have a crossover just for the mid bass and they have a crossover just for the tweeter. An example of that is the Focal Slate Fibers. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Infinity has been doing it like that for years. R-Type, Alpine R-Types, some of them are that way. And Audison and the Prima line make speakers that do that. So that's also something to consider, is where my crossovers are going to be. So
okay. So
now
if
we're just looking for value, I don't really want to have an answer. I don't want to give anyone props on this one. I think we've just given them a lot of stuff to think about, and we'll just end it there.
I think that was a long
answer. It was a long answer. Nowhere. But it did go. It gave you some pointers on what to look for when buying a speaker. I mean, if you just want me to say speaker,
for me, it's like how much money you have, and then you look in that price point, because you're not looking into the K2 powers if you don't have the money for the K2 power.
No.
So what's the point? How much money you have, and then you look in that.
And there we go. And so Scott says, I'm looking for a 6.5-inch speaker to run off my head unit power. I was recommended the Morel Maximos V2 because high sensitivity, and I want something without harsh tweeters, but I can't find them anymore. Okay, so the Maximos have turned into the Maximo HEs. Mm-hmm. So it's the same speaker. What you're looking for, she's gone with that. I could have saved all that. But no, you want the Maximo
HEs.
It's the same speaker. They just moved it into the line because the Maximos just stood off by itself.
Hey, Eduardo, how you doing,
yes,
buddy?
that will sound excellent off of radio power.
Yes.
Very nice speaker. So there you go. Fernando looks even more exhausted after Dean's school of 3.5.
Exactly, dude. I was like, oh my God.
Don't be a hater, bro. Don't be a hater.
So
Andy's chiming in and said, happy Saturday, Dean and Fernando. Keep up the solid input for the community. We will do our best.
We are going
I am super looking forward to next week, though.
Really?
Really? God, yes. Are you kidding me? I need to get out of here. I have a 0-gauge power wire and a 4-gauge ground to frame. Can I have too big of a ground? No, you can never have too big of a ground. You can never have too big of a power. The thing is, they have to match. And the reason why they have to match is because DC is a circle. Okay, so a lot of people don't really think of DC in a way that makes any sense, because the ground never goes to the battery, all this nonsense. So what you have to look at is like the big 3 ground upgrade. Okay, if you've got a shit ton of power, increasing the ground plane is very important. All right, this is why the aluminum things don't work out so well, because we're using basically a CCA power wire to get back up to the battery, and the resistance can be weird because it could be riveted together. It could be body glued together and whatnot. So if you have, let's say, 200 amps of power coming back and you need a 200 amp return, you have to make sure that that works. Meaning if you built accordingly. So for example, if you look at, if you ran a 0 gauge back and you're like, wow, this ground isn't going to support it, then you need to run a 0 gauge ground. We're hoping that the frame of the car is a big enough ground plane to provide you the amperage of return. Sometimes it is. In a modern car, it might not be. So even if it's made out of steel, some of these longer vehicles, way in the back, the ground plane sucks because it's so far away, and there's the overlapping panels in the body glue that they're using instead of a straight big panel or welding properly or any of that other stuff can be an issue. So no, you can never have too big of a ground, and that's why. It's so much fun. Hide current comment. There we go. Oh, bring that one up again. I know. We both hit the button at the same time. Hey, I'm getting 4 to 6 loud pops out of my subwoofer just after I put my Chevy Silverado 2012 in drive. But what do you think it could be?
2012.
2012. I mean, there's so many things it could be. Usually pops like that are signal. It's something on the input of the amplifier. Very rarely is it power. It's usually like in your, oh, Jesus, your RCA is loose or bad or something like that. Yeah. Or there's a bad input on the amplifier, possibly a loose connector in the amplifier itself. I would ask, where is the amplifier at? Have you tried a different RCA? Everyone always says that they've checked the ground, which is cool. But
I check it. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Put a
voltmeter. Yeah, I mean, the best thing is get some kind of, try to replicate the problem without moving. Okay, that's the thing. Anytime you're trying to troubleshoot something, you have to get it to replicate. You have to get eyes on it while it's doing it, and replace one thing at a time. So anytime you're troubleshooting, if you throw the kitchen sink at something and then it just fixes itself, you really have no idea what was wrong with it in the first place. So you might just need something like a new set of RCAs.
Yeah.
Or you could have something just, put a voltmeter back there at the amplifier so that you can see what's going on, right? While you start up the vehicle.
Yeah. Or if you have an aftermarket radio, I don't know, maybe something's touching in the back and,
or it's a bad ground at the radio.
At the radio?
Yeah, it could be pulling ground through the RCA.
Ooh, no, that's just bad.
Yeah, that is bad. Yeah, that'd be sucky. LOC. Hopefully it's no LOC. Yeah, or line output converter.
I got Jester. Thanks so much.
Who played the best Batman? Keaton.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Keaton. And honestly, the only thing that was good about the Flash was the Michael Keaton part, the Batman part. Everything else in the Flash was crap, but that part of watching Keaton get to play Batman again, to me, like, you could just take that part out of the Flash and just put the Keaton scenes in, I'd be happy. Like, throw the Flash part away, it sucked. But Keaton definitely played the best. Watching the clock all day for the show and got stuck helping a customer connect to his dash cam. Oh.
This sucks, right? Yeah.
It's always the stupid shit that just...
Hey, man, it's a customer, right?
I got it. I got it. But, like, okay, so, for example, like, thanks, Fang. Connecting wireless CarPlay.
Oh, my God.
You got 8 hours trying to connect wireless CarPlay.
Android.
Yeah. And did I say wireless CarPlay?
Yeah, you said CarPlay. Okay. It's Android. I don't have nothing against Android.
You totally hate it.
But connecting those pieces is just
suck. You hate it,
man.
You hate them. Android users suck.
This is like hit or miss. You like it works. Oh, literally, it doesn't work at all. So it was terrible. Dude, come on. Everybody knew Keaton was in the Flash. Now, the question is, who played the best Joker?
Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, the best Joker is Mark Hamill in Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, I don't know.
Well, just go watch any
Okay,
Batman.
okay.
So Mark Hamill was.
What was the guy that they actually they die
You know, here's the thing: if you're not on my
of
team,
drugs?
if you're not on my team, Heath Ledger. He was terrible.
That
If
was-
you're not
that
on
was
my
my
team,
favorite.
you know the rule or say number one in Dean's book is if you're not on my team, you suck. The reality is we have nothing against Android, but the fact that I find it humorous, and that's why this phrase exists, is how polarized people can get about a phone. It's a phone.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know,
But like I say, it's fine. It's just that connectivity when it's three pieces is just not liking it.
no.
Because
It's
you
okay.
have the radio, you have the piece, and then you have your phone, and it doesn't align. You
Yeah.
know, we have to make sure the planets align exactly so it can work.
Yeah. I mean, you got to understand from our perspective, we just want the stuff to work to make the customer happy. And it's like, we know what works.
Mhm.
We know it works. We know, like, I can take this.
And I'm just gonna say,
I can take this,
yeah.
I can put it in, I can test it. It works
Done.
fabulously,
Yeah.
and I'm done. But then they hand me that, and that is definitely not going to work.
Yep.
And we have to sit there for 8 hours going,
And you, as a customer, if you see that the piece is not working, you automatically assume that that's the piece or that's the installation part of it. It is like, yeah, you guys did a good job. And it's like, no,
no. We have a phrase in the 12-volt industry: the best way to kill a demo, hand me an Android
it's an
phone.
Android one. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, honestly, Android Auto has gotten way better in the last couple years.
We can still be friends. It's
Yeah,
okay.
we totally still be friends.
No, not really.
Yeah. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And that's just
You
it.
have to. I
Yeah.
mean,
I almost
That's
ask.
what we do.
I a lot of times I ask people in the beginning.
literally, I spent almost 8 hours
So-
with a customer trying to do that stuff.
I always love this one. I always love this comment that everyone. This is the number one comment that anyone says about Apple, and the reality is Android is locked down way tighter than Apple is. I just that's the funny part is everyone. I don't like to. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Hey, you know what Android doesn't have? They don't have an RTA app. None. I don't know how many Apple has. Dozens and dozens, and they're awesome. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay, man. It's okay. It's what it is. That's why we don't have IRTA2 for Android, because no one has an RTA app to use it. It would work, but it's kind of sad. Moving
Don't
on.
be like that.
It was okay. It's just saying the Keaton stuff with that. Oh, and like, okay, so understand this. Samsung makes an excellent phone. They make awesome phones. They make amazing. If I had to have any phone, it would probably be a Samsung.
Yeah.
Luckily, I don't have to.
And like I say, no, don't like. I'm not saying every phone is the same or every. No. Some of these connected, boom, works.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. I love it.
So, and the funny part is the Samsung users
Mhm.
are Apple users. They just don't know it because they're willing to spend the money to have the better product. You know, when you buy the, like, if you're just as nerdy as the rest of us, and you're like, oh my god, you know, Google Pick just came out, whatever it is, or the new Samsung 27, or the new, like, and you're like, I gotta have that. You know, it's cool. You're getting the best phone that you can to do what you want.
In my defense, I'm gonna say I never had any problems connecting Apple CarPlay. Just boom, wireless. It says allow, and I just hit allow, and it's done. That's it. I don't have to pair my Bluetooth. I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to download anything. So, but it's okay. Still love you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You know, we're never gonna make friends on this one, but that's okay. You don't have to. Operator. No, you know, it's funny. I'm actually pretty good with an Android. You know.
Oh yeah. Hi. At this moment, all representatives are assistant. And
Aliens with an S, by far the funniest one.
Aliens.
Yeah, aliens. That was the one where they all went into soldiers, and you had Chet. We're all gonna die, man. Yeah, that was the best. All right, what do we got? What about PS Sounds?
PS Sounds amazing. Oh, how come you both know? Yeah, Yeah, like I say, it's fine. I don't have to. I love.
See, I wish, I had, in order to get high res out of an iPhone, you got to go through the camera kit and do all this nonsense to get a high res out of an Android phone. You don't have to. But there again,
it's okay.
It's not the end of the world.
I don't think it's a fight between,
No.
It's just the connectivity. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And I do it every day.
Yeah.
Okay. You have one phone, you connect it. It's awesome.
Oh, there we go. The win right there. Fro call it. Windows phones for the win. 100%. God, how do you kill a company? Invent a phone. Hey, for those of you guys that weren't paying attention because we were talking about useless phones, I just want man to make a call. We switched the banner up top to Moscone-America.com. Hey, why not? Because they're cool. And that's what we did. And we like Moscone. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I've had is iPhones. They got issues, but last forever. Maybe I'm stubborn. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
And at the end of the day, I honestly don't care. I want you to have whatever phone makes you happy. Just like I want you to vote for whoever makes you happy. I want you to eat.
Oh, now we're going
I want
political.
Your sports team to be the one that makes you happy.
Go Hawks, baby.
And at the end of the day, that's all that matters is your happiness. I just want you to keep your happiness in check.
I'm just happy.
Yeah. Moscone is the bomb. Just don't say that on a plane.
Don't say it on the plane because,
all right.
Yeah,
don't say it. I've got Rockford speakers with crossovers to put in an Impreza, and it seems like there is some Y connection somewhere in the car, which I'm thinking is connecting the crossover but can't find connect. Yes, there is probably some Y connectors in the car. However, very rarely do they hide. Now, I said rarely. That doesn't mean they don't always. So let's say you had a mid-range in the door, a tweeter in the A-pillar, and the factory was powering it. And you're like, no problem. I'm going to use these wires, and I'm going to try to find where they connect together. You're never going to find where they're going to connect together. We always just run new wires from the crossover up to the tweeters. It's the easiest thing to do. If you're like, I want to know if there's a passive crossover in there already, that's where an RTA comes into place, an electrical RTA like our IRTA2 that is an electrical RTA. This allows you to connect the signal from the tweeter into it, run it into the unit, play pink noise, and you can see, is it a full range or does it match the mid bass in the door? You can actually run both in there and you can A/B between the two and see what's going on. A lot of the times the factory will put the crossover on the tweeter just because it makes more sense for them. There are a couple cars, like I said, that do have a passive crossover buried somewhere in line. It's not very often, unless there's an amplifier, in which case it could be crossed over from the factory amplifier.
That's for sure.
Either way, it's always easier just to,
Hey, Mike, I can agree more, man.
Diet in a sandwich.
I can't agree more, yes.
Sure. No doubt. Boston cream all the way.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Thanks for the show, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you, man. All right, so this is it.
Scariest horror or Halloween movie? This is all you, bro. I don't have one.
No, really?
No, I don't watch scary movies.
Man, horror movie, like super scary.
I don't have one.
No?
No. No. So back in the day when the Blair Witch Project was all the rage, I watched it and I was like, this movie sucks. This is the worst thing ever. And then I watched it with director commentary on. It was a comedy. Who knew? The director was the best. It was a comedy. I laughed my ass off. It was the director's commentary in the Blair Witch Project was freaking amazing. It was like, I got to watch all horror movies like this because this is great. It turned it into a comedy. It was lame. It was lame. It was terrible. But watch with director's comedy. It's great. Makes total sense. It's funny. But no, I'm not a guy. That's you, man.
I'm with Cuddy right there. It was my kind of like the first scary movies that I watched. And
the original
like,
It?
The original.
Okay,
yes,
yeah, I saw
the first one. I was like, oh man. Yeah,
we were like a baby when that came out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Of course, I'm always like, what?
Dude, you're always late.
Yeah, it's Spanish people time. Is that what it
It's
is?
Spanish people time. I'm gonna be there. What time? 6. I'll be there at 7.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorditas. Oh, dude. Yes, for sure. It's like sopas. Remember the sopas?
I thought gorditas was a Taco
It's
Bell
the same thing, man. It's just tortilla with meat,
lettuce,
cheese, and all that
yeah,
stuff.
a taco.
What's a taco?
Tortilla with meat, lettuce, and cheese.
It's
What
a
is
quesadilla.
burrito?
Yeah.
A tortilla with meat, lettuce, and cheese.
Dude, it's
What
a
is
joke.
A tortilla
The
with
girl says about, you know.
There's actually a
the
stand-up
Mexican food
comedian that
doing
talks about this all the time.
Mhm.
Brian Regan says,
Okay.
I worked in a Mexican restaurant one summer. Everyone always asks the dumbest question. What comes in a taco? It's a tortilla filled with meat, lettuce, and cheese. Ooh. What about a chimichanga? It's a tortilla filled with meat, lettuce, and cheese. Yeah. So anyways, this has jumped the rails as it often does at the ending.
That's awesome.
But I have a question.
And we probably have an answer.
My Metro harness has a blue and a white stripe, and the radio harness has the same. Do I connect them together? And as well, another wire for an amp turn on. All right, so this is a fun one. And when we do radio harnesses, we often talk about this. So first question is it a basic harness or a smart harness? If it's a basic harness, meaning there's no boxes attached to it, it's just a plug with wires, take the plug with wires and plug it into the car and check to see what is on the other side of it. So for example, if it's a non-amplified system, there might not be anything on the other side of the blue with white stripe, in which case you don't need to hook it up to anything.
Mm-hmm.
However, there might be a wire on the other side of it. It may be for an amplified antenna, or it could be for an amplifier. If you're bypassing the amplifier, obviously you don't need it. Now, that is the first thing. And if there is something on the other side of it, then what you do is you just wire off of the wire to go off to your amplifier. So you would attach to it, and then we typically have pigtails that come off and go. On all our harnesses, we put a 4-wire pigtail. We do a constant 12-volt, an accessory, a ground, and a remote turn-on. Whether we're using those or not, we always have those 4 pigtails coming off with connectors on them, so that if down the road we need to, we can easily connect something up to it. Or if we find out that there's an external amplified antenna, there's something there to connect it to. Now, if it's a smart harness, meaning there's some form of a brain box attached to it, and the blue wire with a white stripe is coming out of the smart harness, you always want to hook it up. And the reason for that is because some of the modules do require that remote turn on going into the module to turn on certain features. So you would make sure to hook that up. There again, you could wire off it. Some of them will have an output on the other side of it. It just depends on who it is. But yes, those are the 2 scenarios in which case you want to check to hook it up. And either one of them, you can always wire off to go off to your external amplifiers. It's not a big deal. Most of these are using very minimal amounts of current to turn on, so you don't need to worry about a relay or anything like that.
All right. I got this one. Let's
do it, man.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Why do 4-channel amps only have 4 inputs rather than 2 per channel 8? Getting all the channels working properly has been frustrating. 2022 Dodge Challenger factory radio, non-amplified. I have an LC7i. Oh my God. If LC7i is the question, it's definitely the wrong answer.
You had the wrong product.
You have the wrong product is basically what it comes down to. So why do 4-channel amps only have 4 inputs, 2 per channel? Well, because it's just left and right. 8, getting all channels working properly has been frustrating. Okay, so 2022 Dodge, use the LC7i. You're going after the radio. Non-amplified is cool. However, there's much better ways to do it. There's 3 better ways to do it. The first one is using the AP. Yeah, I'm going to say shut that.
It's like AP4CH41.
Yeah, so what that's going to do is that is the Amp Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That module is going to plug into the back of your radio, and it's going to reprogram through turning on and off the car and letting it go to sleep twice. It's going to reprogram that factory radio into thinking it's an Alpine radio. And it's going to give you 6 channels of full bandwidth RC output, front, rear, and sub.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to do whatever you want at that point. It's basically taking your factory radio and turning it into a aftermarket radio. It's giving you 6. So it's just like the Alpine radio. So the better piece to use is the Amp Pro. Now, you can also do it with the AR iData harness and a DSR1. You can also do it with an AR module and harness and a ARC Audio PSM Pro. all of those will allow you to reflash that radio into thinking it's an Alpine system and give you 6 to 8 channels of preamp output. If you go PSM Pro or DSR1 from Rockford, you get 8 channels of preamp output. You can figure any way you want because those are full DSPs.
Now, this is your integration part of it.
Yes. So from this point, you don't use the LC7i because the problem with the LC7i and the Dodge is that the Dodge has tons of equalization, has tons of bass roll off. It has high pass filtering. It sounds like dog crap, which which is why you're trying to upgrade it. And you're using the wrong device to do it. Because your LC7i is going to take anything into account.
Now, talking about 4-channel amplifier, it looks like you need an 8-channel amplifier, right? Because if you're going to go tweeter, mid, rears, and a subwoofer.
Now, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is if you have the basic 4-channel system, the speaker in the dash and the speaker in the door are playing on the same 2 wires. There's just a Y jack that goes off between them, so you only got to grab one of them. You don't have to bring both of them into the LC7i.
Use the crossover for your speakers.
Yeah. So you just need a set of wires to go into the LC7i. You don't need both the 3.5s and the 6x9s. It's not necessary if it's a 4-channel. Yeah. Make sure if you are going to keep the LC7i that you take your subwoofers off of the front channels. So what you want to do is connect the rears to inputs 1 and 2, connect the fronts to inputs 3 and 4. That will allow inputs 3 and 4 to feed inputs 5 and 6, which will then feed the subwoofer. And if you didn't get that, rewind it, play it over again, or check out the review we just did on or anything we've ever done on LC7i. Hey, guys, that's it for now. That's it for this weekend. Thank you guys so much for coming on board and hanging out with us. As always, we do enjoy this. That's why we do it. We hope you guys enjoy it, too. We're going to be at SEMA all next week, so make sure you
stop by and say hi.
Stop by and say hi, and or keep an eye on the social networking feeds, both Instagram and YouTube. We're going to try to go out there and bring you guys as much new stuff as we can. We're going to be with Rockford, so naturally we're going to hang out in the Rockford booth. We'll take you around the booth, show you all the cool stuff they got going on out there. And then early in the morning or late at night, we'll show you all the other stuff. When we're not working for them, we'll show you all the other stuff. So it ought to be.
That's what she says.
So it ought to be a lot of fun. We hope you guys. We will, Mike. We will. And the fact that you're not going to be there is just sad.
What the heck, man?
However, we'll get over it very quickly.
Exactly.
As far as getting over it, we hope you guys look forward to next week. There will be regular videos up for you guys to watch. You guys have a great rest of your nights.
See you guys. Thank you.
See you later next time. Bye.